everyone, my name is SeaTactics for the win, and welcome to another episode of OVAwful. This time, it's actually called OVAwesome because this is an awesome OVA. And I have a special guest. This is the first time I've ever done this before. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, what's up? You may or may not know who I am. I am OtakuMike. I do anime and manga reviews, mostly manga nowadays, but I do anime, and I felt like SeaTactics needed to watch this to truly be an anime aficionado.
So this anime is called Cyber City Oedo 808, the longest OVA title ever, but I wouldn't have it any other way because this OVA is awesome. It's about basically three separate stories, kind of. They're kind of episodic, and it takes place like hundreds of years in the future or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 2025 or something like that, or 2300 something.
I thought it was like 2800 or something.
Something like that.
It's crazy.
They're never really clear on what year it is.
Yeah. This series came out in 1990 by the studio you will know probably for like One Punch Man and A Place Further Than the Universe and a bunch of other stuff. Madhouse.
One of the best studios of all time.
Yeah, and this this OVA makes me love them even more. So these the series is 3 episodes that centers around 3 separate characters. The first one is Sengoku. The second one is Goggles.
It's Gogol. They call him Gogol. And then we have Benton. Benton, the very flamboyant criminal.
Yes. AKA kinda Griffith, kinda not Griffith.
Kind of. He likes to use wires.
Yeah, and lipstick.
And he fights in high heels.
Yeah, God, that
they're very impressive.
Indeed. We're gonna go episode by episode, talking about episode 1, episode 2, and episode 3. For patrons, this is gonna be one big thing. For regular viewers, it's gonna be 3 separate parts, probably coming out each week during the month of July. So you're gonna get a lot of this if you're a free viewer, or if you're not. It doesn't matter. So with that being said, let's get right into it with episode 1, which is called Virtual Death. And I gotta say, this opening is awesome.
The intro for the intro music is so amazing. Like, I want to find the soundtrack to this. Yes, I want to find the soundtrack to this anime and just blare it and make people listen to it because it is phenomenal. It gives you those early 80s, 90s anime feel.
Yeah. And looking at this anime, people will probably be like, oh, this is totally 80s. This came out in 1990, which was just
I think the first OVA came out in 86.
86, wow.
If I remember correctly. And then the last OVA came out in 93, if I'm correct.
Oh, okay.
But I could be 100% wrong.
I read it. I went to Wikipedia and and it said 1990, and I didn't go back up. I guess it was just one of them came out in 90 maybe. I'm not sure.
It's possible.
But the opening on this is so freaking cool. I also watched the Japanese opening because the English opening is totally different from the Japanese opening, and the Japanese opening is just, oh my god, it's really good too. It's like a 4.5 minute, classic Japanese 90s rock kind of thing, and it's really good.
Yeah, if you get it on DVD and you get both of those openings, which are phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. What else is so good is this first episode we're introduced to Sengoku, who is kind of a total fucking dick. Like,
he has one of the best pompadours of all time.
God. No.
But he is a dick. He's he's your grade A like criminal.
Yeah. I mean,
with the long the red leather duster.
yeah,
You know,
he
he
can.
likes to drop the F-bomb a lot.
At the end of this episode, he says so at the end he kills Dr. Amachi,
Yes.
and he's talking to the girl that like gets really excited when he's around. I guess she likes him or something. And
Yeah.
she's like, "So what happened to Amachi?" And he's like, whatever. He used to turn out to be a vampire." And he like literally explains like everything the plot missed during the episode in like 2 sentences, and it's just phenomenally hilarious.
Yeah. So, a little setup to this is they're all criminals, and but basically they're the worst of the worst when it comes to criminals, and they basically get hired onto the police force to be cyber police and track down other criminals. And if they don't do it within 24 hours, their heads explode.
Also, if they do it, they get time removed from their sentence.
Yes.
So there's incentive both ways to do your job. There's things you can't do as well, like they can't fight each other, they can't commit more crimes.
Yeah. I believe at one point one of them gets time added on to his sentence. I believe it's Goku who gets time added onto his sentence.
Oh, what did he do?
He disobeyed his orders in the first episode, and he gets I think 70 years added onto his sentence.
Oh, jeez. So there is an issue with what I watched on YouTube. The audio was so low quality, it was hard to understand some of the words. So I did miss a lot, like just a lot of those minor details, but I got pretty much the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So after the opening of the first episode, Sengoku, so a bridge comes up and closes. And so what Sengoku decides to do is drive his car, jump the bridge, using it as a ramp, then mid-air gets out of the vehicle, jumps off of his car,
jumps out
onto a helicopter to land on the guy he's trying to get. This is just
because what was it? The terrorists take over a skyscraper.
Oh yeah. Well, that happens later on. This is like the very
that happens later on.
Like a helicopter, and it's just there. I wish more anime would do this kind of thing, where it's so just like it's like very much like Black Lagoon,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just crazy like stunts and stuff like that. Anime is missing that funness, and in this Cyber City has fun.
Yes, it has fun. It doesn't take itself too well. I mean, I guess at the time it could have taken itself seriously. When you go back and look at it, you just have to laugh.
Yeah.
At all the ridiculous stuff that they get into.
Right. Yeah. I mean this OVA is a perfect example of why you should still go and seek out OVAs from decades past.
Oh, most definitely. Because they were just throwing stuff at the wall, trying to see if things stuck. They had free range to try new things, but they couldn't try on normal television. Amount of...
Continue.
Oh, sorry. The amount of violence in this show is some of the most violent things you'll ever see.
Well, funny you bring that up. I was gonna say that later on, I think OVAs near the end of the OVA era and around the 2000s, they just became violence for the sake of violence. This is some of the stuff you'll see that's really like just super violent and disturbing sometimes, but it's nowhere. It's not about the violence where in the late 90s and the early 2000s where it seemed like it was just gore porn. This is it's very like There's violence, but that's not the centerpiece of this. You're not watching it for the violence.
Yeah.
You're
It's
watching
more
it
for the story.
and the story.
Yeah, the story and the characters, yeah.
Which is
And our characters shine in this because they get all three of them get their own episode to shine.
right, yeah. And this first episode I think is a great introduction. And it kind of, I don't know, it has a little bit of Die Hard to it in this episode.
Oh, it was most definitely probably inspired by Die Hard.
Yeah, because
those are the vibes that I got.
So there's a bunch of people that get trapped. I guess it's a bunch of people. This may be a dubism.
They get trapped or something to do with that. Like the security systems in the building go haywire and people get trapped in the building, if I remember correctly.
And so Sengoku has to go out and rescue the people from the Cyber City.
And the building's over like 300 stories or something like that. It's like, a tall building.
It's super freaking tall. At one point, it starts to fall over.
Yes.
And then at another point, when they save it, it starts to return back to its normal state.
Yeah.
It's like in free fall, and it's like it just stops and it just tilts back up.
Yeah, and we haven't even touched on like the space laser yet.
So in this episode as well, we get introduced to Goggle, and also Benton, though they're not they're kind of minor characters. And my first reactions to Benton is I just did not like this guy's design at all.
Oh.
And then I got into it by the next episode. I was like, all right, this guy's cool.
Because his design is so drastic from like the other two, because the other two are more like very like rugged and manly, and he's very like he looks like David Bowie from The Labyrinth.
Yeah, like totally. Like he totally looks like David Bowie, but with white hair.
But he ends up getting one of the coolest episodes in this OVA.
Yeah, the last episode, which is just really good.
Yeah.
So near the end of this first episode, the big fight scene happens, and Sengoku finds that Dr. Amachi was causing all of this trouble to go down.
His body was stuck in the building itself, and he was controlling the building.
Yeah.
Was it also he takes control of the satellite and he's going to blow up the building as well?
Yes. Which is just it's so ridiculous, but it's just so freaking awesome.
All because his business partner screwed him over and killed him.
Yep.
So somehow he basically integrates with the computer itself with his dead body, controlling this massive building.
It's so
and
awesome.
I still don't understand why or how he can do it.
That's not even the most ridiculous part, because he starts firing off. I don't even know what he starts firing off. He just starts firing off at Sengoku, and he's getting shot at, and he's shooting
like wires into.
Oh yeah, he's shooting wires into him. Yeah, and he goes down, and he's like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to fight him.
Yeah, it's that scene where he's trying to fight him, because all he has is like I don't even know if he had a gun at that time, but he has like this like blade hook thing.
Yeah.
They called it a katana, but I don't think it was a katana.
There's no way it was a katana.
And that's all he has. And these wires are coming at him and like sticking into his body and like going through his body. And that scene was one of the most crazy, like almost grotesque scenes of him trying to get to the body just to kill him.
Yeah. And so he's like trying to figure out, he's like, what am I going to do? And so he does probably something he shouldn't have done, but it just works because he's the main character, one of the main characters. He gets up and he just starts walking towards him, like not even bobbing or weaving, just slow walks directly up to him, and then Amachi just starts missing everything, and he's like
he
stabs him
can't comprehend what's happening.
It's just yeah, he has like this computer system where he can like he can predict every movement,
like what's going to happen. Yes, and he couldn't predict that.
He couldn't predict that he would just walk straight. It's so cheesy, but it shouldn't have worked. He should have died instantly.
Oh, most definitely.
How do you not predict like how does a computer that can predict everything not predict everything, especially the most simplest thing, which is just a slow walk?
Yeah.
It's goofy, but it's funny, and it was like I howled. I was like, ha ha. This is great. Final thoughts on the first episode.
Final thoughts on the first episode. It is a really fun start to the OVA itself, and it sets the tone for what is to come later on in the other two episodes. It's just a fun, basically riff on Die Hard itself. This
first episode had me in so many different ways. It was
most definitely.
It was so cheesy, so fun and entertaining, and there's a bunch of stuff that I missed because of the low quality audio and all that. I'm sure there's even more. Just the English dubs dialogue is so ridiculous.
It's so out there. They totally 15'd it up. When I was rewatching this, I tried to keep track of how many like F-bombs and like curse words that they would say. I lost track of the swearing, which they say some ridiculous lines in this, and I'm like, did they really say that in Japanese?
We'll talk about that and a lot more about that in part 3, because part 3 has some crazy stuff. But with that being said, let's move on to episode 2. Where can they find you?
You can find me at OtakuMike or on Twitter, Anime Mike. I believe it's 1986. If you want to do that, just hit me up. I'm not that hard to find.
Yeah, not only that, but you're probably. I mean, didn't you just hit 500 subscribers?
Yeah, I just hit 500 subscribers, and currently, I am doing 2 giveaways. They might or may not end before this is up, but I got sponsored by RightStuff.com and the USA Gundam store to do 2 giveaways.
By the time this comes out, my giveaway will be live. I was contacted by High Dive to give away a $150 box set for Parasite the Maxim. It's limited edition.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so go watch the giveaway, that video, all the details to win that thing. It's awesome. I'm looking at it now. It's beautiful. Also, this is, if you're watching this on YouTube in 3 parts, you could have watched this in 1 whole part if you were a Patreon on the $1 tier or above. All the tiers, there's only 2 tiers, the $1 and $5 tier. $1 tier and $5 tier are the exact same things. You get access to everything, a bunch of ad-free stuff, a bunch of stuff for early and stuff like this. Hunter x Hunter, OVAwful, OVAwesome, a bunch of my older videos when I was a gaming channel back in the day. So consider that if you haven't already. Thanks everybody for watching. See you on the next OVAwful.
See ya.